In the oldest pages of Scripture, there exists a passage that has intrigued theologians, historians, and Bible scholars for millennia. A brief, mysterious text that reveals a disturbing truth about the days before the Great Flood. Genesis chapter 6, verses 1 through 4. When human beings began to increase in number on the earth and daughters were born to them, the sons of God saw that the daughters of humans were beautiful, and they married any of them they chose. Then the Lord said, "My spirit will not contend with humans forever, for they are mortal. Their days will be 120 years. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God went to the daughters of humans and had children by them. They were the heroes of old, men of renown." The question that echoes through the centuries is, who were these sons of God? The oldest and most consistent interpretation with the original Hebrew text identifies the sons of God, in Hebrew Bene Elohim, as angelic beings. This interpretation is supported by the book of Job, where the same expression Bene Elohim clearly refers to angels who present themselves before the throne of God. The book of Jude, verse 6, confirms this interpretation by mentioning the angels who did not keep their positions of authority but abandoned their proper dwelling. 2 Peter, chapter 2, verse 4 reinforces this. God did not spare angels when they sinned, but sent them to hell, putting them in chains of darkness to be held for judgment. These fallen angels abandoned their original state and committed an act of cosmic rebellion by uniting with human women. This transgression wasn't a simple moral sin, but a violation of God's created order, a deliberate corruption of the human bloodline. The result of this unholy union was the Nephilim. The Hebrew word Nephilim derives from the root naphal, which means to fall. They were literally the fallen ones, or those who make others fall. The biblical text describes them as mighty men, powerful warriors, men of renown. They weren't just great in physical stature, but in power, influence, and wickedness. They dominated the antediluvian world, spreading violence and corruption throughout the earth. Genesis 6, verse 5, reveals the result. The Lord saw how great the wickedness of the human race had become on the earth, and that every inclination of the thoughts of the human heart was only evil all the time. The corruption wasn't just moral, but genetic. The human lineage, created in the image of God, was being systematically destroyed. It's in this context of total corruption that God declares, "I will wipe from the face of the earth the human race I have created, and with them the animals, the birds, and the creatures that move along the ground, for I regret that I have made them." But there's a crucial exception. Genesis 6, verse 9. Noah was a righteous man, blameless among the people of his time, and he walked faithfully with God. The Hebrew word translated as blameless is tamim, which means perfect, complete, without blemish. This may be a reference not only to his moral integrity, but also to the purity of his genetic lineage. Noah and his family represented the last line of uncorrupted human descent. That's why God preserved 8 souls through the flood, so that humanity could continue, and so that from this preserved lineage would come the promised Messiah. But did the Nephilim disappear completely with the flood? The biblical text suggests they didn't. Numbers 13, verse 33, records the testimony of the spies sent to explore Canaan. "We saw the Nephilim there. The descendants of Anak come from the Nephilim. We seemed like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we looked the same to them." How is this possible if everyone except Noah's family perished in the flood? The most likely explanation is found in Genesis 6, verse 4, and also afterward. The fallen angels attempted again to corrupt the human lineage after the flood, but on a much smaller scale. There arose the Rephaim, the Emim, the Zamzumim, and the Anakim, races of giants who inhabited Canaan. God commanded Israel to completely destroy these nations. It wasn't arbitrary genocide. but the surgical elimination of genetically corrupted bloodlines that once again threatened the plan of redemption through the messianic lineage. Jesus makes an intriguing prophetic statement in Matthew 24, verse 37. As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. What characterized the days of Noah? Widespread corruption, violence, union between angelic and human beings, manipulation of God's creation, and a society that completely rejected divine truth. We live in an era where genetic manipulation has become reality, where biblical morality is ridiculed, where the supernatural is being accepted and sought again, but dissociated from the authority of God. The parallels are impossible to ignore. The Book of Enoch, though not canonical, is quoted by Jude and provides fascinating details about this period. It names the leaders of these fallen angels, Semyaza, Azazel, Armaros, and describes how they taught humanity sorcery, astrology, weapon-making, and knowledge that shouldn't have been revealed. This ancient text suggests that much of the pre-flood violence and corruption wasn't just the result of human choices, but of deliberate demonic instruction. The Nephilim weren't just physically superior, but possessed forbidden knowledge that accelerated humanity's moral degeneration. The story of the Nephilim isn't mythology, it's not folklore, it's biblical truth recorded in Holy Scripture to warn us about the reality of spiritual warfare, about Satan's attempts to corrupt God's plan, and about God's faithfulness in preserving a remnant. This narrative reveals to us that the flood wasn't an overreaction by God to human sin, but a necessary intervention to preserve humanity itself from extinction and ensure that the promise of a Redeemer could be fulfilled. The lineage protected through Noah led to Abraham, to David, and finally to Jesus Christ, the second Adam, who came to restore what the first Adam lost and to definitively destroy the works of the devil. The Nephilim were real. Their existence proves that we live in a universe where the spiritual world interacts with the physical, where angels exist, where demons operate, and where God sovereignly guides human history toward his eternal purpose. The question that remains is, if God judged the ancient world for its corruption, what will he do with this generation that once again resembles the days of Noah? The truth is written. The mysteries are revealed to those who have eyes to see, and the warning continues echoing through the millennia. Watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour.